So hello, welcome to Breathe today. We're going to be doing a little bit of self-massage. This has come up because we've got a few questions over the last couple of weeks. So I thought this would be really, really helpful. We're going to be creating space for the breath. We're going to be relieving any chest tension or pain and tightness in the body. But actually what ends up happening is there's a smoothness and an ease to the breath after a little bit of self-massage. And we're going to work from actually the back of the skull all the way down to the belly today. So some of you may well be seated. I'm going to just demonstrate the lying down position to begin with, because I know some of you will prefer to be lying down or perhaps in bed today. So making sure if you are lying down that your head is level with your heart. That's really key, just to help the heart, help the venous return. So you may find that you want to be propped up higher than this, and really welcome to have lots of cushions and pillows, whatever you need. I've got my knees bent in the semi-supine position here. This is to allow the deeper abdominal muscles, the lower back, the lumbar spine, the psoas, that deeper muscle that joins our upper and lower body, to find rest. And that's just so our diaphragm, our breathing muscle, can move with ease. If you prefer to have your legs extended, if possible, having your knees resting on a cushion or pillow. And that again allows this whole area to feel fully relaxed. If you are coming to seated, I will guide the seated today so that you can see me as needed. Making sure that your knees are level with your frontal hip bones, if not a little bit lower. So that might mean sitting on lots of cushions. It might mean that you'll need to sit on a chair. One of the reasons, if the knees are high, our diaphragm cannot move freely. So we want our diaphragm to have that freedom of movement up and down. So taking your time to find your comfy position. I'm going to have my knees crossed, but I'm going to add some extra padding here under my knees. So making sure you've got all the support you need. Beginning to find stillness in your own way. And please know throughout this class, you're welcome to change position. You're welcome to move if you need to. Perhaps you just rest and stay in the room, doing whatever you need to do. Making sure you're supporting yourself where you are today. As we always do in this breathe class, we'll begin to release through our jaw area. So you might like to open your mouth wide, stick your tongue out, make some funny faces. Push your tongue into one cheek, roll it around the mouth. And this helps to release the jaw area, particularly if you know you clench your teeth or you've been upper chest, mouth or shallow breathing. In your own time, sealing your lips and breathing in and out through your nose. So we have the nasal hairs filtering our inhalation, the nasal cavities warming, humidifying, and cleansing our inhalation, all preparing our breath for our lungs. And to begin with, I'd like to invite you just to notice how your breath's doing. How is it today? Does it feel a bit more challenging? Does it feel like it's higher up in the body? Does it feel soft? Does it feel fluid? Does it feel easeful? Maybe it feels a bit bumpy. There's no wrong or right answer. Noticing how your breath is in this moment. And we're going to begin to take some self-massage to release any chest pain, to help relieve asthma, to release any congestion in the body. And the first point we're going to start with is at the base of the skull. So I'm going to turn around in this moment. And you can find your thumbs or a couple of fingers in the dips. It's almost like a little dip at the base of the skull here. And there's 2 points either side of the spine. So taking a little bit of time to apply a little bit of pressure gently just there. And actually in traditional Chinese medicine, this is known as gates of consciousness. So it can be a really helpful pressure point to find if you suffer from headaches. So taking your time to apply some gentle pressure there, maybe even a little bit of massage, moving your thumbs. And having our arms over our head can be very, very tiring. So only taking this for as long as you feel comfortable. If you're lying down, hopefully your shoulders, your arms are a little bit more rested. And then when you're ready, gently releasing your arms and your hands. Coming back to breathing in and out through your nose, softly and gently. And the next point we are going to focus on are the secondary respiratory muscles. So you may well have done this technique with me before. So we have these secondary respiratory muscles which come in just behind the ear and the jaw, and they go diagonally down the neck and insert into the collarbone and the first and second ribs. So you might like to begin to stroke this area with a little bit of pressure. My fingers here are just applying a little bit of pressure. They can get very tight and very sore if we have been breathing using these muscles predominantly. So the diaphragm, our breathing muscle, should be doing 70 to 80% of the work. These muscles should be doing about 20 to 30%, but sometimes they take over. So another option is to kind of knead either with knuckles or to use your fingertips. And it's almost, I'm going to come closer to the camera so you can see, it's almost as if I'm beginning to grab hold of a bunch of tubes for that tubular muscles. So this can be quite tender, being mindful and working with your own pressure here that feels comfortable for you. So taking your time, if you are seated, you could prop your arm up with the other hand, making sure you take rest if you need to, because it can be quite tiring. And you may like to work your way down almost to the collarbone, just nearly there. So take your time. If you can, still breathing, particularly if it's tender and sore. And then when you're ready, resting on this side. And you may even find, whether you're lying down or sitting, that the side you've done just has dropped a little, it's a bit softer. Just noticing if there's any difference there. Or move to the other side when you're ready. So just taking your time to begin to stroke the muscles. So you can just feel into where they run. I'm turning my head so that you can roughly see behind the ear, behind the jaw, and then run down. The sternocleidomastoid, it's got a great name, that big chunky muscle there. It sometimes gets quite tight. And then if you'd like to, you could begin to go a little deeper. So you could use your knuckles, or you could perhaps begin to massage using the fingertips as well. So softly and slowly. And this is the one that can be particularly helpful in the morning, especially if you know you're a snorer or a mouth breather at night. There's this possibility of releasing the tension that can be created overnight. If you wake up with a sore jaw, sore neck, shoulders, it's possible that you're a shallow or a mouth breather. And this can help release that tension that's created. Maybe coming all the way down to the collarbone. And then when you're ready, allowing that side to rest. You might like to check in with your jaw area. Just make sure it feels soft and relaxed. Breath flowing in and out through your nose. I realise this is a lot of work for arms and shoulders today, so please know you're welcome to rest and simply breathe at this point. For those who feel you'd like to continue, you've got the energy to continue, we're going to begin to work along the collarbone, and we're always going to work outwards. So just at the top of the collarbone, I've got my fingertips here, and I'm just very softly and gently applying some pressure. Kind of pushing in and working outwards, very softly, very gently. And then I'm going to move to below my collarbone. So again, starting at the center, gently pushing just underneath the collarbone, working outwards, starting from the center, working outwards. And when you're ready, resting your arms, resting your hands. We're going to begin to find our arms under our armpits, or our hands under our armpits, I should say. So this can be a little bit awkward. See how you get on. Thumbs are under the armpits. If you can, just apply some pressure into the sort of dimple area behind under the armpits. This is heart one. So again, working with traditional Chinese medicine, if I can get my words out. So beginning to work here. And then I'm going to begin to massage a little bit down the sternum, so the breastbone. So I'm using my fingertips here to take some soft, gentle movements around the sternum, and this can really help relieve any pressure or chest pain, particularly if you've been finding that's occurring. So working gently here. And at the center of our sternum, our breastbone, roughly in line with our nipples, this is known as the Sea of Tranquility. So it's conception vessel 17 in traditional Chinese medicine. Helpful to just gently massage here if you'd like to. Again, being gentle and releasing here. So with TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, we're working here with the heart and lung meridians. So it's helping to shift any blockages, renew energy, but also create space for our breath. And then as soon as your arms begin to get tired, just resting your arms, taking a bit of a rest. And we'll pause for a moment as we begin to breathe in and out through our nose. So inviting that softness again to your jaw area. And sometimes it might be that you need to release through the jaw again. Sometimes as we concentrate on different things, our jaw can become tight. So always welcome to roll your tongue around your mouth or open your mouth wide. And a soft smile is really helpful because that means our jaw is relaxed. Couple more points to massage. We're going to gently find the areas between our ribs if we can and work outwards. So I'm just using my first couple of fingers. You're really welcome to use knuckles if that feels a little better for you. And I'm working between the ribs as much as I can. Applying soft pressure between each ribs, and we have the intercostal muscles that run the inside and outside of the ribs. So you may even want to, if your arms aren't getting too tired, work all the way to the side of the body as well. So feeling into the rib cage at the side of the body. And eventually getting down to the base of the rib cage. It's not an exact science, we're just slowly trying to create a bit more space here in the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments. Resting your arms, taking a pause here. And then we're going to actually try and work with our diaphragm. So the diaphragm, the dome-like muscle that sits at the base of the ribcage or just underneath. I'm going to begin to find the base of our ribcage, fingertips just gently hooking under, really gently here. We want to be gentle. And you're welcome to apply some pressure. So I'm going to push my fingers in a little bit on the exhalation. So we know the diaphragm moves down on our inhalation and gently and softly moves back up on our exhalation. So it's the exhalation where we can begin to release it and massage it just a little bit. So if you would like to, fingertips gently hooking under your rib cage. On each exhalation, you could apply a bit of pressure here. As with everything, if it feels a bit too sore or tender, either being really gentle or just pausing. And then once again, when you're ready, allowing your arms to rest. You may find you have some tingling in the upper body. You may feel a little bit warmer up here. You may just feel some sensations, but hopefully feeling a little bit softer and lighter. One final massage technique, if you'd like to take it, is hands coming to the waist. I'm going to do a little bit of a waist massage here. So I'm just squeezing the waist. I can actually feel a little bit of my rib cage here. That's about roughly where I am. I've got my thumbs behind my back, so if that feels possible, you could use your thumbs to gently apply some pressure and massage. And then in your own time, again, taking rest. So all these areas can begin to get tight, particularly if we've been breathing in our upper chest or upper body, that shallow breathing, perhaps mouth breathing. They can get tight just simply from posture and punching around, particularly as we get into the colder days, colder nights. So a little bit of self-massage, really helpful if you feel you've got the energy for it. And then if you like to, we're going to take a little bit of tapping gently. So waking up the breath, this is called, something I learned from a wonderful teacher called Donna Farri. So I'm going to use my fingertips here to quite literally tip, tap, words are not coming today, over the rib cage. So you could perhaps begin to, depending on your flexibility, mobility here, come into the side of the rib cage, maybe even tap to the center or just above the navel. This can be really helpful for relieving congestion as well. And then if you feel able to, you could make soft fists and pummel the back of your rib cage as far as you can reach. This is where a friend, a partner can be helpful. Coming back to the front of your body, maybe up your breastbone, sternum area, back to the top, perhaps even back up to just above the collarbones. And then when you're ready, resting your arms. Taking some time to tune into your jaw area. Lips are still gently sealed. And breathing in and out through your nose. In this moment, noticing how your breath feels now. Has anything changed? Whether that's your breath or your upper body. And we're going to take a couple of minutes just to nurture our breath low, slow, deep, as we often do. So beginning, if you can, to breathe in and have a sense that your breath is traveling down to the lowest parts of your lungs, which are just above the navel, just above the belly button. So protected by the rib cage. So again, as we often do, you could guide your breath here if you'd like to with a hand or two hands, if that is useful to you. Beginning to breathe deeply. So the breath is traveling low and also the rib cage is traveling out. So if a hand guiding your breath is helpful, hands can come to rib cage if you'd like to take them there. Feeling your rib cage moving outwards with each inhalation in all directions. So encouraging your inhalation to travel to the lowest lobes of your lungs, your rib cage expanding. And maybe you now add on a sense of lightness to your breath. So I often call this invisible breath, very soft, very light. Maybe even a sense of your nasal hairs hardly moving. And this is the element, this light breath that sometimes brings on a sense of air hunger. So you might like to stick with it for a couple of breaths, that sense of perhaps needing to take a deeper or more bigger breath. If it feels uncomfortable in any way, if it's restrictive, if it's tight, let it go. Come back to breathing low and deep. Welcome to stay here and continue for a little bit longer. If you've got your eyes closed, you may like to gently warm your hands, create some heat. Placing your hands gently over your eyes, allowing the warmth to be absorbed by your eyelids. Opening your eyes when you're ready. And gently releasing your hands.